Hey guys, so I have a lot of little stories today, nothing really major, but just a lot of little stories. I'm actually not sure how I'm going to title this video because I don't think any of these stories is like important enough for a title, but we'll see. Sometimes I don't know until I start rambling and waffling about a story and then I'm like, oh shit, I am angry. And then that's what becomes my title. Just whatever pisses me off the most, I guess. So I have a few updates. In my last video, I gave a very hot take. I had a hot take about religion, which I always do. I always have a hot take about some kind of a controversy. And there were a lot of religious people in my comment section going, oh, don't generalize. I don't like the fact that you're calling religion toxic. And it's like, am I not allowed to have my own opinion nowadays? Is that what 2020 has become? It's just like, you can't have an opinion. It's like, I have an opinion and then you're saying my opinion is wrong. So then you're going to provide me with your opinion. And it's like, we're just going back and forth now with opinions. Let me have an opinion. I'm not a big fan of religion. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, I don't mind religious people, but I don't like religion. I don't like religion as a concept. I think it's culty. I think it's toxic in the basis. I think you can make it non-toxic if you're a good person, but a lot of people that will read into it very, literally are going to be toxic, and that is the tea on that. Please don't come for me again. I can't be asked, honestly. Let's just, opinions are a thing. Twitter, Instagram, follow me on there. It's a really fun time, and also subscribe because at 500k we're making a second channel about my personal life that no one really cares about. So first piece of tea is Paris Hilton. Why am I talking about Paris Hilton? Because she is a fraud. I'm joking, don't sue me. You have more money than I will ever have in my life. She was recently showing off her own skincare on some kind of a channel thingy majig, and she was like barely using her own skincare line. Like, she is getting a lot of facials and a lot of like professional stuff, and she's using very probably expensive skincare. So the last thing she's probably using is Paris Hilton skincare. And she was just like, she would take the serum and go, and now I'm going to use it. Yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed that. That was great. And it's like, that didn't even touch your face. It really didn't. And serum's mainly supposed to go on your face. Like, yeah, rub it down your neck as well, but like face mainly, no. So that's just it's kind of scary to me that she doesn't trust her own brand with her face. Like, that's interesting. It's an interesting concept. But that also reminds me of when Shay, who played on Pretty Little Liars, was recommending, well, she was sponsored by I believe it was like a micellar water, something to remove mascara, and she went over it, but like she didn't touch the mascara at all. You could tell the cotton bud just went like this and completely just didn't touch her eyeballs, which is concerning when you're getting paid to promote this product that you're not even willing to put on your eyeballs. Like, how are you expecting people to then spend money on it when you are scared to use it yourself? Just a hot take, another hot take, guys. That was also compared to Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know if you guys remember, she came out with her brand called Florence. A lot of that was skincare based, and she did not use the product in the promotional video. She did like a promotional Instagram video of her using the product. Like, she barely did anything and was like, oh my god, I love this so much. But she is a child, and I think people need to give her a break. Hot take. Another case of this. Why am I just coming up with all these cases in my head now? Kylie's skin, guys. Remember when she just refused to put stuff on her forehead? She would done. And that one video where she cleaned her face with her face wash for about 10 seconds and then used the towel to get the makeup off, and then all the makeup was on the towel. All the dermatologists and estheticians say 30 to 60 seconds, but Kylie's skin said 10 seconds, so I'm gonna do 10 seconds from now on. Unclogging my pores. What I want in 2020 is clogged pores. I saw an article recently that said 8.4 million British people shower once a week. Once a week. One times out of 7 days a week. That equals about 4 to 5 times a month. That's less than I shower a week. They're doing in a month. And a lot of people said, this could include homeless people, but this was a survey, and I don't think, as bad as that sounds, I don't think the Express newspaper went up to homeless people to survey them. I think this was probably an online survey done with people that actually have access to a shower, because a lot of them gave excuses like, oh, it's just, it's whatever, once a week is enough. Sure as hell isn't. You stink. And that's why I take antibacterial surface wipes with me wherever I go, and you can bet that I'm wiping everything down. I'm one of those people on the plane that I get on and the first thing I do is wipe down every possible fucking surface before I sit down, and everyone looks at me like I'm fucking insane. But then you have videos on the internet of people picking movies with their toes. So if you expect me to touch someone's dusty toe and then eat food with those same hands, then you're crazy. The germaphobe deep inside of me is cringing at this article. Selena Gomez recently released an album. As you know, me and Justin Bieber fans have a little bit of beef right now because I don't like his song, you know, because opinions, once again, are just not a thing in this society. And I also find him a little bit cringe, which also opinions not allowed in this day and age. But she released an album. A lot of the songs are obviously about Justin Bieber because, as you do, 5 years after a breakup, let's all just move on from the Selena Gomez Justin Bieber debacle. Like, he's married and you were together when you were like 12. Let's just keep it going, you know, keep the ball rolling. Like, it'll be fine, Selena, it'll be okay. But she's obviously got beef with Hailey because Hailey is Justin Bieber's wife. And this was like such a, like, I'm trying to calculate who's friends with who. There is a woman called Madison Beer. Madison Beer was discovered by Justin Bieber and his manager, and that's how she became quote unquote famous. And then Madison Beer and Hailey Baldwin turned up to like Selena Gomez's party, or a party that Selena Gomez was at, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's tea. And I'm like, that is the furthest thing from tea. Two adults that are friends show up to a party that is hosted by or with or is attended by another grown woman that happens to not like this one. How many times did you go to like a party and there was someone there that you're not very fond of, but it's like, is that tea? Like, are you 12? Are you 15? No, these are grown women. They're all in like mid-20s. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're okay. Even Selena Gomez was like, this isn't tea. This is the furthest thing from tea. Anyway, let's move on from that. Don't know why that was even mentioned, but we'll mention it, I guess. Next thing, Jeffree Star. People are calling him a hypocrite now. What's new? Jeffree Star is seen a lot of the time wearing very expensive mink fur stuff from like the Fendi mink fur like hoodie looking things, which are gross, by the way. Like, not even, let's just like skip over the fact that they're made from real fur, which kind of grosses me out. I could not wear real fur because it makes me feel like I literally skinned the animal and put the fur on my body, and it just cringes me out a little bit. I feel like that is like too close to the form that they found the animal in. Like, processed leather doesn't look like an animal to me, you know? It just like, you can kind of skip over in your head, you're like, oh, this could just be plastic. But real fur just straight up looks like an animal. There's no way to like get around that. It just looks like an animal, and I don't want to wear it. I also don't have enough money to wear it, so like, maybe it's good, you know? It's like my taste buds know that this is too much of an acquired taste for me. But he's wearing these like long fur coats as well, and they're all made of mink, and mink animals are like pretty small, so you have to like kill a lot of those minks to make those fur coats, which is why some of them cost like 50k. Can you tell why I don't like fur? Because I clearly can't afford it. And Jeffree Star is seen wearing them. He's been seen wearing them for a while, and people are saying, how can you wear mink fur and then create a cruelty-free and somewhat vegan makeup brand? And hear me out, right? I get it, you know, that it's a hot take. It's like a, ooh, fur is bad. And yeah, sure, it is. But he didn't create that brand for himself. He created that brand for other people. And obviously a lot of people are not okay with brands that are not cruelty-free. Like, majority of brands being created now are cruelty-free just by default. Even if the owner of those brands is like very much not vegetarian or non-cruelty-free using. It is just better for business to create a cruelty-free brand, because then people that are not cruelty-free and people that don't use cruelty-free makeup will still use it, and then people that only use cruelty-free makeup are able to use it. You're like bringing in a wider group of people. So I don't think this is him being a hypocrite. I think this is just his taste, like his opinion on the matter. He doesn't mind wearing fur, but it is just good for business for the brand to be cruelty-free. And there's also no reason for the brand to not be cruelty-free, because most of Jeffree Star's products are sold online. Obviously, if you're selling in China, like in stores, then you have to go through the animal testing process. But if it's all e-commerce, then you don't need to. So he can literally sell his products online to China and then not have his products tested on animals. So it's literally just good for business. And it's mainly very old school makeup brands that still do animal testing so they can have physical shops in China, because old school makeup brands depend on shops because it's usually older women using those brands. And then when you have new brands, it'll be like young people, men and women, buying them online, because we don't like go into the store and be like, oh, let me have some Estee Lauder. Like, no, we buy like Anastasia Beverly Hills and all those newer brands. You know, I don't know if that made any sense, but it made sense to me, so I'm just gonna go with it. So I think this is just good for business, but it's not, his brand being cruelty-free is not a representation of his views and beliefs. It is just good for business. And Jeffree Star, whatever you say about him, knows how to run a business. Someone has been coming out on Facebook saying that Nate has been DMing them, and there's this like whole cheating thing now that people are talking about. And the thing is, a lot of people are very quick to believe things. Just simply someone will say, oh, this thing happened, and everyone's like, oh, it must be true. And And there is absolutely, like, until I see like actual evidence, like actual unbeatable evidence, then I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Like, okay. Ian Peters said, LMFAO, this just may be one of the most iconic things ever. So this is a follow-up to my last post about Jeffree and Nate. Yeah, this is literally absolutely funniest ever. Okay, so here's the tea. So last night, Nate DM'd me literally out of nowhere on Instagram and sent me a pic. So naturally, I was hella confused. But obviously, your girl went with it and sent something back. So we stopped talking, whatever. This is the worst written note I have ever read. Send some pics, chat, whatever. I'm like, so yeah, when y'all are in Michigan, can you tell I am confused by this grammar? Michigan, we should like chill. So he's all like, oh yeah, most definitely I'll be hitting you up, winky devil face. So you know, a bitch is stoked at this point. I'm like, bitch, period. So he's like, good night, talk to you later. And sometime goes on or whatever. And I go back to our messages a little bit ago. And I noticed he unsent everything and he sent me and blocks me. And I was like, lol, okay, what? And then went on Jeffree's page. And literally as I was clicking on his page, he messaged me and said, bitch, back up. And I refreshed it and I was blocked. And I couldn't see the message anymore. Y'all, when I tell you I am deceased, like, I am literally screaming. Like, I am literally bugging the fuck out. Can you tell I'm excited about this? Sarcasm, just in case some of you didn't catch it. It's very much a coinkydonk that the messages were unsent, so he can't show us the proof. You know, it's funny. It's funny that the messages that are the basis of your story have been unsent, and now you can't show it to us. You know, if anyone asks for proof, you're like, damn, they've been unsent. How crazy, how wild. So yeah, I'm waiting for proof because messages have been unsent, apparently. People are also saying that Jeffree Star is still pushing this whole Nate breakup agenda because he recently posted this makeup look of him like crying, and people think it's to do with Nate, and it's using that situation to his advantage and to like I don't know, like he's using the breakup to capitalize off of it. And I already made a video recently, it got demonetized, so I like made pretty much no money from 700,000 views. That's really cool. And I spoke about how, yeah, I was very uncomfortable by the whole Jeffree Star breakup thing, because if you look at the thumbnail and the way it's been promoted on Instagram and Twitter, and that iconic Instagram story of him crying to background sad music and going swipe up, like that was, you know, not how I would address a breakup. I would probably just give out a very like bland statement on Twitter just saying, hey, like this is the tea and that's it. I wouldn't like promote on every single platform with weird emojis and like link in bio, but you know, to each their own. I think a lot of people don't realize that just because you don't monetize something, it doesn't mean you're not gaining from it. Like for example, my Jeffree Star video didn't get monetized pretty much at all, like, and then the CPM was bad, so like pretty much at all. Just thinking about how much I could have made and how much I did make, just push the tier back in. But I gained about like 20,000 subs from it, which is potential future views. So like, you know, you gain some, you lose some. And I think that's what some people don't understand. Some people just see monetization as the like one benefit of doing YouTube, but there is so much you can gain from a video even if you turn off the monetization, like subs and future growth and future views and future monetization, as well as future sale of products. So I think, you know, just because he didn't monetize the video, it doesn't mean anything. Not at least to me. So yeah, I was very much uncomfortable with that, but I don't think this makeup look is necessarily supposed to link back to the Nate video unless it is, and I'm just not realizing it. But I just feel like maybe this is just a sad look. Like he's sad, he made a sad look. Yeah, I'm not gonna be upset about it. I'm not gonna nitpick that much. Another thing, people are accusing Tarte Westbrook of shading Jeffree Star. Of course they are. So Tarte recently came out with the Blendyful sponges. If you're wondering, I use the Blendyful sponge to do all of my makeup, from foundation to concealer to powder to bronzer to blush to highlight, everything pretty much, other than like eyes and lips and brows and mascara and stuff, is the Blendyful sponge. Tell me how you like it. Wow, and it's great. I like it. If anyone wanted a review, here's the review. Approved by Angelika. Angelika approved. And Tarte obviously sends out PR to lots of people, like smaller channels, non-beauty related channels like me, and bigger channels obviously. And she sent the Blendyful sponges to both Laura Lee and Manny MUA. And people are like, oh, that's tea, that's shade against Jeffree Star, because obviously Jeffree Star and Tarte fell out after the whole James Charles bi-sister scandal. And not everything is shade, first of all. Second of all, Manny MUA and Laura Lee have been rebuilding their like reputation after everything, so I'm pretty sure Tarte just looked at their channels and decided that they were a good fit to receive her products. And not everything is shade. Like, these are grown people. Tarte is a grown woman who is not out here to just throw shade all the time. Like, I'm so sorry. I know it would be pretty cool if everyone was just out here being petty and shady and we had so much to talk about, but that is just not the case, you know? She's allowed to not be friends with Jeffree and still not be shady to Jeffree. Like, it's not like she wakes up every day and thinks, what can I do today to Jeffree Star off. Like, can we just give her a break just a little bit, just a tiny tad bit? Yeah, I just don't think that was the case. I think she just looked at the channels, decided that their views were up again. You know, it's a good advertisement. It's, you know, that's what brands do. They send out products to people, and who they pick is not shade to someone else. It is literally just, we saw your views, we saw you're doing well, we see you're a good fit for the product. Do you want to receive it and advertise it for us? Next, James Charles being cringe. James Charles was recently commenting under Selena Gomez's Instagram live, and he was like, let me do your makeup, let me do your makeup. And every time she ignored him, he was just like, let me do your makeup, sis. And she ignored him. So that was really fun and fresh. He's been doing that for a while. Like, he comments under so many celebrities lives and like any streams, and just comments continuously, which is cringe, but I guess, you know, he grinds and sometimes he gets a video out of it, so you can't, you know, I'm not gonna complain about it. So some other news. James Charles was recently mentioned in a Pink news article. I don't know, I don't have Snapchat anymore, but on Snapchat there used to be that like articles you scrolled through, and there was like different like Cosmopolitan and BuzzFeed and Insider and stuff, and there is one that's called Pink News, and they claim to be very LGBTQ friendly, and then they posted this, and James Charles posted this in response, and then Pink News replied with this, saying, "Dear James, we made an oversight on a recent Snapchat story about you. The story did not align with our core values and has been removed. Pink News stands for the fundamental rights of the entire LGBT plus community and its allies. We exist to inform, inspire, change, and empower others to be themselves. Our recent coverage of the UK general election, trans issues, and rollback of the LGBT plus people's rights are just some of the stories which highlight the nature and diversity of our content. Every part of our business, from our editorial content to our events, strives to elevate marginalized voices, propel change, and showcase the diversity of the entire LGBT plus spectrum. This Snapchat story did not align with these values. Stay fierce, sister." Hear me out. I wouldn't cancel them straight away, because I think what this was an oversight by one employee. And I think nowadays in online entertainment and online media, people do stupid things to gain more views, and sometimes you can have the best of intentions, but the idea of getting more views and stuff just kind of clouds your judgment. And we see a lot of that with clickbait and weird content being created, because people lose sight of the actual goal and try to reach that goal sometimes in questionable ways. Like, I'm not a stranger to clickbait, but I try not to be disrespectful with it. And sometimes some people cross the line or like dwindle on the line. Sometimes the line is like far gone. For example, Logan Paul, we know that situation. That was clearly just him being so far gone in the quest of getting views and subs, and this whole like, I need to be the best and get the most views, and that was the result of that. And we've seen that happening time and time again. We see it as a continuous cycle. For example, the Danny Con situation, that's a constant cycle of doing questionable things for views, and I think this was exactly that. It was an employee thinking, if I get more reads and more views, I'll be promoted. Because these are not YouTubers, you know, these are not people making hundreds of thousands a month. These are people making a regular wage and just thinking, how can I push myself forward, go further in life, you know? And sometimes you can get kind of lost in that. So I don't know if I would, like, yeah, it was clearly, but it was disrespectful, but it wasn't so far disrespectful that I'd be like, oh, cancel them straight away. I just think this was an employee that isn't a good representation of the company right now. So we'll see further how they do things, but they clearly state that they've been, you know, doing a lot to kind of inform people on any minorities that are struggling right now, and I'm gonna try and believe them, because I'm trying to not be as skeptical in 2020 and not be as much of a pessimist as I usually am. Another piece of tea is Kat Von D is selling, well, she already has sold the remainder of her shares of her company. So she recently posted on Instagram saying, "This past year has been one of a great change for me. As many of you know, I gave birth to my beautiful baby boy, launched my vegan shoe line, and I'm now busy prepping to release my long-awaited album in the spring, followed by an international tour. As much as I wish I could balance all of this on top of continuing my makeup line, it has become clear to me that I just can't do everything to the maximum capacity. It's hard to admit this, as I've always said you can do everything and anything, but I don't think admitting one's limits is a bad thing. With that said, I've decided to sell my shares of the brand, turning it over to Kendo, my partners, for the past 11 years. This was not an easy decision, but after careful consideration, I decided I wanted a makeup line to continue to thrive and grow, and I believe Kendo is primed to do just that. The transition for you, my loyal customers, will be seamless. In order to avoid any confusion with such a big change, Kat Von D Beauty will take a moment to rebrand itself, so you will start noticing the change from Kat Von D Beauty to Kat Von D Vegan Beauty. I'd like to thank my beloved fans and followers who supported my vision to create a brand that stood for compassion, true artistry, and challenged modern ideals of beauty, most of which I could never relate to. I was able to create a makeup line that made outsiders like me feel like we have a place in this beauty world, and gave myself and others the tools to express ourselves in our own unique way, whether it was embraced by the majority or not. And I just couldn't have done any of this without you. Lastly, thank you for understanding and respecting my choice, as it was a difficult one to make, but one I am proud of regardless, and I'm confident that the team will continue the Kat Von D legacy." Now hear me out. She's saying it's because she has a lot of things on her plate. For example, music, her vegan shoe line, which I did not know was a thing. And obviously a child, which yeah, sure. But realistically, out of music that she hasn't released in a really long time, and a tour that I'm not sure how sold out it is, a shoe line, and you know, a lot of people have children and they still work, so the child isn't really in question right now. So a vegan shoe line that I've never heard of, and music that she hasn't released in a really long time, so we don't really know how it's going to do. A makeup line seems to be the most profitable thing of those things. If a makeup line is doing well, it's doing well. And Kat Von D isn't the cheapest either, so you know, you sell a few palettes and you're already good to go. We learned that from the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson series, and I just feel like this isn't her being too busy. This is her selling a brand before it completely dies, because it's been on the verge of death for a really long time. And I think the best thing to do at this point is sell shares while the brand is still worth something. So she probably got paid a few million, a few tens of millions maybe, for the rest of her shares. She sold it so that they can rebrand the makeup line and kind of revive it, hopefully, because it doesn't have the Kat Von D name behind, well, it does, but it doesn't have Kat Von D behind it and the beliefs that she has. She gets a payout that she can live off of for the rest of her life, and the brand can have a second chance. I don't think necessarily it's she couldn't balance it. I just think the brand is gone if she continues to be the face behind it, and it's going to die more than it already has. So she is just making the smart decision of getting a payout while the brand is still doing okay, and letting it live another life without her, which is smart. It's a smart thing to do, because people are just refusing on the internet to, one, promote it, or two, buy it, because of her personal beliefs and views. And at this point, I think if they rebrand it well enough, people might just be willing to give it another chance on the internet. And she is, you know, she probably realized her shares are dropping, so she's just said, I'm gonna step out, get money for the shares, and go, because that is the end of my journey with Kat Von D beauty. Some people are kind of concerned that she will still get royalties and commission from it. Allegedly, she is not getting any royalties or commission from it. The most she's getting is obviously the shares, the price of the shares that she sold. And after that, she is in no way involved in the brand anymore. And even Kendo said that she will not even be taking part in the creative process. Like, she is in no way getting involved in anything to do with Kat Von D vegan beauty. It is just a new brand. It is just the name is left behind, and that's it. So I'm guessing more people might be more willing to buy Kat Von D makeup now, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just so far gone that at this point no one even wants to just be involved with that. But you guys let me know what you think. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below anything, comment down below, and subscribe, because I post videos every other day, or when something happens, or when I do so. So ring that bell and you'll know when that's happening, but also subscribe and, you know, comment and like. Follow my socials down in the description down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.